Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Good morning. Well, the dogs and bird are waking up early because my wife is working early. We did have, here off of the open, a quick little move up and already bouncing off of the VWAP. There does appear to be strong sell pressure today in the Treasuries. But it's Monday. E-mini still up here. Let's come over here to the chart. E-mini's holding last week's levels, but nothing too terribly exciting. I mean, we had a pretty good move up on Friday, so to still be here is good. And ZN pushing down. So yeah, still some sell pressure. And that's about all I can see at the moment. Bitcoin made a slight move higher, but maybe already coming back. So, how's it going? Good morning. Good morning. Where? Oh, we didn't open up Discord. Really like that it just gives you guys the links, and even though it's not like the direct link to the YouTube video that you can watch later, it still works really well. And we don't think we have a whole lot of news this week, do we? Oh, we have news at the bottom of the hour. Okay. Empire State Manufacturing Index, Housing Market Index, Beige Book maybe be significant. Thursday core retail sales. Yeah. I don't know. This week is probably not going to have as much opportunity as last week. But should keep our eyes peeled. Oh man, they really ticked up there pretty strongly, actually. Yeah, it's even pretty quiet in chat too. We'll just see what happens here in 2 minutes. I don't think it's the president putting her in danger. It is her ill-thought-out words. Trump 2020 campaign aide Mark Lauder said on Representative Ilhan Omar, claiming she experienced an increase in death threats after a Trump tweet. Oh, you know what? We don't need the microphone to be that sensitive. There we go. I'm sure after the tweet, though, probably did get an increase in death threats. She probably got an increase in death threats after she said the thing, and then after it was tweeted and became even more of an issue, it probably increased again. And probably this week, because she won't shut up about it, she'll probably get even more. And I'm really worried about it, and I think that everybody should just shut up about it. So that's my rant for this morning. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of movement off of the news here. I'm not seeing the actual number yet. The order flow both ways, so I'm not just going to click in. Okay, must be good. 10 versus an estimated 10 point spot 1 versus an estimated 8, so it was better than expected, and yes, they are selling it, but only by 2 ticks. I don't know if that's something that's just going to lead to like a new low of day. I'm maybe, I don't know. I think I would probably rather sell, but no alligator this week, so you guys are gonna have to step it up in Discord. See, they totally sold it, but we're still holding price here at 20.02 half. I could sell O2 half. I'm probably gonna regret not doing it. Actually, yeah, if I can get it. I don't think I'm gonna get it though. But it looks reasonably balanced to me. Oh, I could have gotten O3. Gosh dang. What are you doing here, 5-year? Zero hedge is giving me a different number from what I just read. Did I read it wrong? Ten versus 8. Yeah, zero hedge has it wrong. Get your shit together, zero hedge. It was 10 versus 8. You've got it backwards. Okay, we got a tick. That's good. Didn't go too far against us. Maybe they're gonna start hitting into 0.5. I don't know. Here's, look, you see here in the 5-year, they're thinking about it. Nope, they're gonna turn back up. Elon Musk's Twitter meltdown declares war on Panasonic, Wall Street Journal, and Bloomberg? I'm starting to wonder if Elon Musk is, like, stable. Like... You know, I was thinking about this yesterday. Another rant, if you will. Since it's one day, and, you know, like, Alligator took a vacation, and it's just kind of quiet. So another rant. I was kind of wondering, you know, thinking about like what are some of the problems with society, and yesterday I've decided that one of the most significant problems that we have in this society is that people don't know when to shut up when it's time to shut up. Elon Musk, you got fined by the SEC for opening your mouth. You need to just shut up. You don't need to be on Twitter. Put the Twitter away. It's not helping you. Well, there appears to be quite a bit of, I don't want to say support here at 0.5 half, but reluctance to take the step. They might do it, and I think that if they do, that we could get our target, but they're just like really reluctant to go through there. Tesla, again, on the brink of failure, says Einhorn's Greenlight hedge fund. Yeah. Well, didn't he say that like, early last week, right? Fed's Evans data has strengthened a little bit recently. Inflation is a little weaker than I'd like, looking for 2019 US GDP growth of 1.75% to 2%. Fundamentals continue to be quite good. An accurate assessment, I think. The economy in Q1 is looking stronger than it did in December. Bum, bum, bum. Mnuchin, California needs to cut taxes to spur growth. Well, California needs to do something, but I don't know exactly. I don't even want to get started on fixing that mess. Oh, man. If you live in California, I feel for you. And probably not very many engines. Wait, that would be... It's still 5:30. Can you imagine? Like, this is early for me. 6:30. It is 5:30 in California. Probably not too many Treasury traders in California. So that's the problem. That's the problem. California needs to change time zones so that there can be more Treasury traders in California, and then maybe they will understand economics better. I've been of the opinion that despite Musk's memory, I still feel like he's our generation's greatest snake oil salesman. Interesting. Well, I think that there is a certain type of personality. This kind of really self-assured person that is unwilling to take no for an answer. And when this kind of person gets into a leadership position, it can be really good and they can accomplish some really great things. And I think that that's what Elon Musk did. Was he had a vision and he refused to take no for an answer, and he got some things done, right? But these people, just when it's really just not possible, when reality is not in line with their vision, they just refuse to accept it, and it can just turn into a disaster. This is the same case. Have you ever watched? So there's a documentary. I know it seems like a dumb documentary, but it's on Netflix, and it's called oh my gosh, I can't even remember what the name of the documentary is now. Hold on. Fire. That's what it was. Fire. F-Y-R-E. So there's a documentary on Netflix about the Fire Festival. It's totally something you should watch as a trader, because it shows you how that, you know, the kind of things that people are going through mentally that gets them scammed, and that allows something like that to grow. And this guy totally has it, and I think that Elon Musk has it too. He refuses to take no for an answer, and he creates like a really tight-knit cult of inside people. And it's like, you know, they just went there to work a job. So it wasn't like they got lured in or anything, but since they're in his orbit, he's able to use his position of power to get people to just go along with things that they shouldn't. And in that particular instance, he tried to weasel his way out of it, but it just did not work, because what they were trying to do was simply impossible. And yeah, it was a total disaster. I think that Elon Musk kind of has a little bit of that personality. So I don't think that Elon Musk is like trying to scam people, but this is like, you know, you're trading. If he was a trader, he would trade and he would do really, really well in the beginning, and then he would lose it all. You know what I mean? Oops. Got the wrong. Keep clicking the wrong button. Are we looking for a break of the lows? I don't know. That's why I took it off at +4, because it's a Monday. Okay, so they did take it quite easily as well. So if we were to hold it, where would we be looking at? Well, there's a little bit gathering there at 31, but I'm seeing some other targets at, what's this, 29.5 just showing up. And there's some targets in the 5 years, so we might just continue on. That might just be it for us in treasuries, unless this is like going to turn into a trend day or something. Theranos, what is that? Theranos was a privately held health technology corporation initially touted as a breakthrough technology company, but subsequently infamous for its false claims to have devised blood tests that only needed very small amounts of blood. Oh, so it was a company that really couldn't follow through on its promises, and you're saying maybe Tesla is like that. Maybe. The thing that is weird about the Tesla thing, just to me from my perspective, is I really don't have a fucking clue what's going on over there. Like, everybody seems to be interested in what Tesla is doing, and there seems to be a lot of shorts out there, but I don't actually know what the challenges that they're facing actually are. The biggest scam after Madoff, you could say. Okay, interesting. Well, the Madoff one is kind of a different psychological phenomenon, though, right? Madoff was just preying on people wanting to invest in and preying on the cognitive biases that rich people have. Secretary Mnuchin declines to comment on the Federal Reserve, says he respects President Trump's view. Okay. Evans, we have less capacity to cut rates if we get into a downturn. He does not see well-articulated model to support modern monetary theory. So here's a question for you guys. Maybe you know the answer to this. Who is pushing modern monetary theory? Because I have not seen a single reputable person in the any of the central banks say anything positive about modern monetary theory. You would think that, the conspiracy theorists, they say, the Federal Reserve is just a scam, and they're there to just take all of your money and to deflate your money away. Well, if that was the case, modern monetary theory would be like, they would totally love that, right? Because that's like, hey, Federal Reserve, you can just print in as much money as you want and do whatever you want. But they don't like it. I think one of Bernie's advisors is pushing it. I'll try to find her name. She is a professor at Ivy League school. Well, there you go. So I was seeing this argument. Well, I was having this argument on Reddit the other day because Elizabeth Warren was proposing, like, if you have over a certain number in profits, it was something like 100 million or something in profits, that you would get like an extra 6 to 8% tax. And I don't have a particularly strong opinion on that particular policy other than that, it's taxes. So, of course, the liberals want to raise your taxes. But, people were saying, oh, yeah, but Elizabeth Warren, like, this is her thing, and she totally knows and understands economics and things like that. And it's like, well, yeah, but it's only a theoretical knowledge, right? You have some professor at a school that says, oh, this is the way that the economic works. And then you have somebody that is actually building the policy and carrying out the trades over at the Federal Reserve says they're full of shit. Who do you think I believe? You know what I'm saying? Running my mouth. I'm probably chasing people off, running my mouth off, but I can't help it. Stephanie Kelton. Okay, so I'll look that up when I'm at work today. Maybe there's some videos of her talking about modern monetary theory, and I can try and understand what it is that they're thinking. Fake videos and audio keep getting better, faster, and easier to make, increasing the mind-blowing technology's potential for harm if put in the wrong hands. And Bloomberg has another picture of a fake Obama. Ooh, okay, so we get giant China GDP this week. When is that? So there does appear to be actually some decent news this week. It's just not US news. Okay, so they were able to make 0.5 go bid. That was where I got out. Yeah, so the whole thing with the stream and politics is kind of interesting because there definitely appears to be some people, like when we start talking about it, I can usually see a couple of people leave, but there are some people that really, really like it too. It's like super polarizing. Probably they're Democrats. That's my guess. I just, so talking about problems in society, I said some people just need to know when to shut up. The other thing that I've been thinking about a lot that I think is a problem with society is it seems to me like everybody thinks that if the rest of the world believed the same things that they did, that we would be better off. And I just don't think that that's true. It's a part of what we do, maybe a small part, but still a part. It is, right? Like you really do have to understand the politics of it to trade this thing, I think. Because it ends up being relevant from time to time. And when you know that you have a move that's based on politics, like it tells you certain things. And the fund managers absolutely make some of the trades that the fund managers make based off of politics. Like these people will make a trade and push treasuries in one direction for months and totally make money off of it, even when they're dead wrong. But like it's important not just to know the politics, but to know what the business community seems to think, and if they're confident enough to take a trade on it and if you can follow it. But anyways, the more research that I've done, the more I have learned that what you believe is not based off of logic or you really looking at it or anything like that. The two largest factors behind what you believe politically is your background and your natural personality. So like parts of your personality that are genetic, these are things that significantly affect what you believe politically. That's why I have no friends. Everyone my age around me turned into old nerds, video games and action figures at 40. I like politics and finance. No one else I know does. Yeah. That's interesting, Izzy, because I kind of feel the same way. Well, I don't think that everybody around me is like that. I mean, most of the guys at church are older than me, but they're maybe like in their late 30s and I'm in my early 30s. And, they keep up on politics, but not nearly to the degree that I do. I don't think they're like super into video games and action figures. I'm still super into video games. Oh man, last night I tried loading up Unreal Tournament 2004, which is my favorite game. And there's some problems with it, like it doesn't handle widescreen very well, so I don't think it's really playable anymore. But I still played it, and oh, so great. It felt so good. But certainly when I look on Facebook and I look at the people on my Facebook, and most of those people are ravers and are a good 5 to 10 years younger than me. Absolutely no interest in that sort of thing at all. Absolutely no interest. But so I was reading that if you have a conscientious personality, that is, you're organized and you're very considerate with people's time, and these sorts of things. And I think that my personality probably is very conscientious, although because I'm ADHD, I'm not necessarily able to act through on it very well, but I think that the personality is conscientious. I think I get that from my mom. That is a very highly reliable predictor of being conservative. It's just funny, I kind of grew out of gaming and stuff when it became nothing but microtransactions, and it's weird not spending 32 hours of a weekend playing video games at 37, and it's considered weird. So then what do you do with your free time on the weekend? So this past week, not so much. The game I've been playing is Apex Legends, and I still really like the game, but I'm just not feeling it right now because there's some things about the game where I feel like a lot of time you're just wasting time and just getting hooked up with random people that are dumb, and yeah, it can be frustrating to play sometimes. So I haven't played it very much, and I need to practice for Soul Calibur because there's a tournament this weekend, but I don't want to completely embarrass myself. But I didn't play all through the week. I only played on the weekend, and like I tried to like watch some shows with my wife, and I guess we played a little bit of Tetris, but it was not. I was just like, this is boring. What do normal people like? If I didn't do the weightlifting, if I had all of that extra time in the evening, from 5 until 9, so like those extra 3 hours in the evening, I didn't do weightlifting, what the heck would I do? What do people do with your time? I don't understand. And then you consider that most people get up way later than me. Most people get up, a good 2 hours later than me. And they could probably stay up a good 2 hours later than me. And what do they do at that time? Uzi, I do housework. My wife and I clean, I bathe the dogs. I usually have a project. If I don't, I'll just relax. I get you. I probably will be getting busy with this yard. So, which sucks because it's just nasty. The situation with the yard, things that I have to do to fix the yard is just going to be a pain in the butt. Double D 315 just followed. Thank you very much. It's really quiet on D Live today, but that's okay. I guess that's kind of expected. I'm expecting that, last week we got a big flurry of activity, and now that PewDiePie has done his thing and left, D Live might not be as popular, but we'll keep streaming there just to see what happens, I guess. Larry Kudlow, Trump wants to disrupt the Fed with Moore and Kaine nominations. That's clearly what's happening. So have you guys been following this story about Moore and Kaine? Because I think at least two senators said that they're going to vote against Kaine. Yard is life. I'm still trying to get my front lawn under control. 2 oaks that need professional trimming. 1 oak that needs to come down, and 2 pines. Backyard is a giant dirt pit. Ugh. Okay, so we're getting some upticks here again. So it is definitely Monday. That's all I can say, is it is definitely Monday. Yeah, so the issue I have is that there's a retaining wall in my backyard. And, you know, when they were building the house, if I had known what was going on, I could have asked them to just make a quick change here and here, and it would have been fixed for me for free. But I didn't, and there's a retaining wall, and there's just not really a good way to get my my lawnmower up to the second level, basically. And so I have to adjust the wall to create a ramp up it. And they left a big gap in the middle so that we could get the lawnmower up, but it's just too steep. And so it's like, oh, I'm going to have to build like steps there. That costs money. Then I have to make a ramp over here. And that's probably going to cost me money. And then, you know, I paid a guy to come and do the grading and dump dirt. And we paid him for the grading. He did haul the stuff away. We paid him for the dirt, and then he never brought it. He says that he bought the dirt. He doesn't respond to text messages, but he says that he bought the dirt. Like I honestly think, this is probably naive on my part, but I honestly think that he intended on doing the job, and things just came up, and now he is kind of like trying to like, I don't know, just hope that we just drop it or something like that. I'm probably going to serve him papers, and then he'll be like, oh, no, I'll come and do it. So frustrating. This was a lot of money. And he didn't do it. And it's just frustrating because I had all that money saved up, and I was supposed to be in a position this year to be saving up for other things. And he ran off with, he didn't do it. He didn't do the job. Bum, bum, bum. Washington backtracks on enforcement progress, caves on demands Beijing scrap industrial subsidies. Poland is said to move 43 billion of pension assets to private accounts. USD JPY moves up a little bit after the Empire Manufacturing / Evans comments. What was the Evans comments? Did I miss that one? Fed's Evans says a recession would be unexpected. Don't want to go to a restrictive position prematurely. Can be data dependent until pressures lead to inflation. Yeah, I agree with that. Happy to be data dependent and see how things play out. Okay. So that's probably why we're moving up. Oh, good job. Loftwing picked up 8 ticks there. I think I'm gonna stay out for a while. I don't know if I'm gonna take another trade today, to be honest. Like I made the 4, and that's pretty good on a day like today. I think, yeah. Three dogs running around your backyard makes grass impossible? Really? Yeah, I keep trying to convince I was like, we should just grow grass. It is so much cheaper to grow it, apparently. But she don't want to do that. The whole Canadian existing home sales month over month spot 9% versus an estimated 2%. Moved us down a little bit. Politics is the art of guiding the crowd not where they want to go, but where they should go. The devil did not know what he was doing when he made humans political. That's an interesting thought. The only way I saw was the fade after they broke low, but I doubted because the way they absorbed in the offer above. Yeah. I think there was clearly some people expecting another push further down. And then that news kind of reverted a little bit. But they're still being cautious because now you're like stuck in the middle. And I think there are still some guys that want to go short, but if they don't get this one, it could go back up to the VWAP. See, I've always defined politics as the art of getting more people to support your policy than the other person. I think that when you think about politics in that context, that the strategy and the right decision politically makes a lot more sense, right? For instance, if it is the art of getting more people in the country to believe in your policy, then one of the great ways to one of the great political moves that you can make is to import more people that believe the way that you do into the country, right? All political entities are violent entities? Okay. I'm not going to say like I disagree with that. I'm not sure where you're going with it. I don't know. What part of Switzerland are you from? So I don't think that politics is inherently violent, but I think that humans are. That human tribal behavior tends to end up being violent because you're talking about groups of people that would be in a small area and they would be competing over, similar resources. Like, just imagine you had a group of 150 people and you were on an island. I don't know, let's say that you were in a beach area, right? You're going to be eating mostly fruit, right? And maybe occasionally hunt. And imagine how much food you would need to feed 150 people, right? And how much land you would need and everything like that. If you weren't actually like farming it, it would be hard, right? You would need land and stuff. And eventually it's inevitable that you're going to run into another group of people. And yeah, you'd want to share, like there's some advantages to to sharing, and you can get culture, and you can trade, and you can gain advantages from trade, right? But at some point, it's pretty likely, if you're just a hunter-gatherer, that there's not going to be enough food for both groups. And the one that wins, the one that kills the other group, is the one that survives. And that is why politics are the way that they are. Because we perceive, our psyche perceives our tribe as our political party. And we think that our survival depends on killing the other side. People throw themselves from one side to the other in the political as well as in the sick camp, in the opinion that they like better. But this is where I was going into. This is where I think it really runs in, where we really run into some issues, because your brain wants to be in a tribe. It wants to separate things out by tribe. And the tribe that makes the most sense in our society today, or at least makes the most sense to your instincts, is your political party. Usually your political party. It used to be your church. It's not your church anymore. Because it's not your church, we've moved it over to political party, right? But the tribe that makes the most logical sense in our world today is your country, right? And so we are running through this strange dynamic where countries are not necessarily useful for people that are, for globalists, essentially. Like, this is the whole globalist thing, right? Is, countries make the most sense for that to be people's tribes, but for people trying to make money, when you have countries, that's where, countries are going to fight over resources, essentially. And if it's not through war, which these days, like, war, causes so much havoc to the economy that I'm not sure we'll ever have a war like World War II again. But then if not through that, then through trade disputes and miniature wars and things like that. And that's not profitable for global trade. So their solution is to just, get rid of countries, right? So then people even cling to their tribe being their political party even more. Well, here's the problem with your tribe being your political party. Your political party is based extremely a lot on your personality, right? People that are high in conscientiousness tend to be conservatives. People that are high in openness tend to be liberal. These are personality traits. And you're going to have those personality traits, from person to person within any given tribe. See, like, these personality traits exist because they provide some benefit to the tribe, right? Like, the personality trait that is probably the strongest in me is I am extremely low in agreeableness, right? You can't get me to do something I don't want to do. I'm very difficult to influence. I like to argue with people. I literally cannot help. I literally cannot help it. I feel this urge to disagree with everybody all the time about everything. Even if it's something that it's like I agree with, I'm still like, well, yes, but the logical fallacy with our position and the thing that we need to be conscious or concerned about is this particular thing, right? That's the personality trait that I have, right? And what is the benefit of that personality trait to the tribe? Well, if the tribe is going to go and do something stupid, I'm usually the one that says, oh, hey, actually, this is dumb and we shouldn't do it. And if I'm good at my job, it gets people to think and they take a step back and we make a smarter decision, right? But since I'm always against everything all the time, I'm also wrong a lot, right? So it's kind of a double-edged sword on it. That's my personality trait, right? That is my place in society. That's the benefit that I give to my tribe. if you have a tribe that is based 100% on one personality trait, then you are missing some of those benefits of those other personality traits, and you can see it today, right? The Democrat Party has become very much about openness, especially in from about 2001 to 2016 or so. It became even stronger so, because the big thing that was pushing, that was really driving the Democrat Party at that time was acceptance of homosexuality, right? And so the people that really identified with Democrats are people that are high in openness, right? And what has happened is that the party has become so open that they are now accepting stupid things into the party, because they're just open about literally, like, we need to be open and accept everything. So now things that don't make sense and are really, frankly, negative for society in some contexts. But I guess I shouldn't go like too deep into specifics, but you guys totally know what I'm saying, right? They're accepting like really dumb stuff. The Democrat Party has become like a party of degenerates almost, because they don't have all of the personality traits in their tribe. The conservatives did the same thing, right? When we were the George Bush years, because we're high in conscientiousness. And so people that are high in conscientiousness tend to be more so against people from outside of the tribe, right? Because one of the things about the conscientiousness is like they're very orderly and clean. And, back in the day, if you had two tribes, if it was you ran into some tribe that you had never seen before, there's a really good chance that they had diseases and immunities to diseases that you didn't. So interacting with another tribe could kill you. But if you were open, that could give you a benefit as well, right? So the people that are conscientious are kind of more against that, and that's why you get like conservatives were very hawkish during the Bush years, even though Republicans traditionally have not been that, right? It's the conscientiousness. And what happened? Like, we took it way too effing far, and they got involved in some conflicts that we probably didn't need to. And we did reject some things that that they shouldn't have and really hurt the party, like really fighting strongly against gay marriage. I mean, I personally I'm not a proponent of gay marriage, but I think that we took it too far, right? And it really hurt the party, and I think it hurt the country, right? So we have a real problem that our political parties are based so much on personality that the two parties are dysfunctional. And the only way that it works is that the two parties are in opposition to each other and that they have to work with each other. But social media and everything has made it as such that they just literally can't work with each other anymore. I noticed you were not agreeable when you told that guy that was pumping his shit going to F off. Right. I mean, I was not always so aware of this. I think that a lot of it was just in trading, man, to trade, you really have to get more into what makes yourself tick than other people do, right? Most people don't sit and think about what are my personality traits and how do those personality traits affect the things that I prefer and the decisions that I make. But when you're trading, you have to, because, I want to be against the grain. But if we're trending, that's like a really, really bad idea, right? And in the beginning in trading, I would fade it 5, 6 times, get run over every time, you know? You have to know, because you have to know the spot when it's going to really move against you. You know? I know there's an issue. We need to find a way to restructure society so that we don't run into this problem where your tribe doesn't have all of the pieces. I mean, I feel like that one way of doing it is that the tribe is the country, and the country does have the different pieces, and we've just got to figure out a way to get the pieces to work together again. But then there's this globalist thing, right? That's the whole fight. The globalist position, I don't think makes much sense. I don't think that they've considered this, at least, right? If we get rid of countries, if the whole world was under one world government, how do you deal with that issue at that point? It wouldn't work. People would eventually start killing each other, probably. It's just like with the UK, right? The European Union is a globalist organization creating a body that controls the policy of multiple governments. And that policy did not fit in with the traditional British way, right? British tends to be a little bit conservative. And independent. And they don't like being told what to do. So they said, nope, we want to be our own country. We need to do our thing. And they're trying to get away, but then it's like so hard to get away from it, because the fact of the matter is that globalism is more profitable. The EU is the Third Reich minus the Holocaust. It is. Like really think about it. Like, what the hell was Hitler thinking? Like forget about the racial component of it. He attacked Russia, and he was trying to take the Balkans and all of this stuff, and he was like obsessed with holding it. Like, he didn't want to give any territory back. I'm not so sure what he was thinking with France, but I think that was just because France attacked him, and I'm not so sure that he wanted to like take over France. But he definitely wanted to take over Eastern Europe. Right? Why? Well, there's resources. There's resources there. There's resources between France and Germany. The Rhine Valley is an extremely profitable and strategic area to hold. That's why they want it. There's oil in the Balkans. Hitler was obsessed with holding the oil in the Balkans. He made a lot of dumb decisions because he wanted to hold out. You know, like, they were almost going to attack Moscow. So like they were just a little a ways from Moscow, and they were like encircling the city, and then they needed the Balkans. He was afraid that he was going to run out of oil, and so he took them away to get the Balkans. And if he had waited, he might have been able to just take over the Russian government, right? Because he wanted the oil. You see, Germany, just the country of Germany, doesn't have everything in it that Germany needs to do what it wants to do. There's no oil there. They need oil, right? There's not as good farmland there. So they need the farmland from France, right? And if there's trade barriers set up between countries, then they have a problem. And that's why Germany has always, throughout history, been trying to do what they do. And then finally they figured out, oh, we don't actually have to take them over. We just create a trade union. And we have to control their governments through the trade unions. So you're 100%. I think your assessment there is correct. It's it's driven from the same needs. It's Germany trying to get access to the resources that it needs. Right? The UK doesn't need it because the UK has the support of their empire. Even though all of the parts of their empire have split off, they still have good trade with all of those places, so they can get stuff from India, they can get stuff from Canada, and they have everything that they need. And so the British sit there and say, this doesn't make so much sense for our tribe because they're trying to tell us what to do. Take Germany out of the equation and the EU would collapse just from a GDP perspective. 1, 2, 3 are Germany, the UK, and France. UK has Brexit. France is on week 23 of Yellow Vest protests. Is that still going on? I guess it is still going on. But you don't see anything in the media about it, do you? So it is a serious threat to the globalist order, or whatever we want to say. It's totally a thing. I think that us on the right, that we make up a lot of stupid conspiracy theories, and the whole like globalist conspiracy theory thing is I think a little bit silly. But it's simpler than that. There are benefits to globalism, and it benefits people that are involved in global trade in particular, which are really, really rich people. And so they're pushing it. And the problem is that globalist order doesn't make a whole lot of sense for regular people. For regular people, at least in the short term, it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So you're a regular person and you have like a manufacturing job. Globalist order just means more competition for your job. So your job is worth less. You are worth less. It doesn't make sense for you, right? Doesn't make, and then from that perspective, it doesn't really make sense for the tribe, does it? If the United States, if the UK did what was best for just the people in their country, it would never get involved in those sorts of things. And now that they are, it's like now they're kind of tied to the tribe of the European Union. Divorcing themselves from that, you have to take on a severe cost in the beginning. It's just like, you know, in the old times when we were hunter-gatherers, if you decided to leave your tribe, if you and your family decided to leave your tribe, maybe that was the best thing for you. Maybe that tribe didn't necessarily match for you, but to do it, you probably had to leave your home and all of your family possessions behind, and it's going to really suck for a while, right? And that's what's happening in the UK. It's funny how many people think some basic information is conspiratorial. It's like when you bring up George Soros and the movements are politicians and he and his organizations fund, people laugh. Like you're insane, but the information is readily available on campaign finance sites and shit. Yeah. Well, that's where it's like, it's not a conspiracy. It's just George Soros sees the world a certain way and he contributes to those causes and he funds a lot of organizations. And those organizations are doing the things that they are doing. He funds them because they believe in those things. Totally. And this is, you know, going back on the tribe thing. This is also why groups like Antifa are dangerous. And I mean very, very dangerous. Because they do not view their tribe as America or the European Union or the United Kingdom or wherever it is that they are. Their tribe is communism, right? And what does communism think? Communism wants the whole world to be a part of their tribe, the communist tribe, and they're willing to do any violent act necessary to accomplish that goal. Kim Fox, the one who let Smollett go, her campaign was funded by Soros to the tune of like $400,000, and the city of Chicago recorded it like they do every other finance contribution. Yeah. That whole thing is kind of weird because I'm just so shocked that she would so brazenly pardon him like that. Like, they really think that that was just going to happen? They're going to get away with it? FN based says in. So does that mean you took a position or are you just here? And you can point that out to anyone and give them the link to the C's records and they'll still call you Alex Jones. Well, I think that the place where it becomes a conspiracy theory is when you say Jesse Smollett only got off because George Soros paid them off too. It's a little bit more complicated than that, right? That person and George Soros have similar political views, so he funded her and she got into the position that she is, and then because she believes the way that she did, he did that. So it's kind of funny because it's like, for you from a political perspective, if you're fighting against that particular political order, you know, like what you do is the same, right? Doesn't matter if it's all a organized conspiracy from George Soros. You have to fight against that organization. But that's the thing. It's like, George Soros isn't an idiot, right? He's doing what he's got to do his thing, and I think that he does. I don't think that he's just like some evil person that wants to destroy society necessarily. I think that he's just somebody that he wants to make money, and he's overzealous and doesn't think about the moral implications of what he's doing. And he has a certain political belief based off of what makes him money, and he hasn't considered the negative impact that political philosophy has on the rest of us. Yeah, well, we're not talking about that so much as we are all these dirty, sneaky things that just happen to have Soros's name attached to them behind the scenes. Yeah. Well, it's just like, I don't know, like the thing is there's nothing inherent in the Democrat Party, in the liberal, and when I say liberal, I mean people that want to change things. There's nothing inherent about that should lead to socialism and communism. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But for some reason, they all really want communism right now. You know, like it's weird. Like when you think back, if you really understand the history on the United States side. So let me back up. Today in politics, man, are we going to take another trade? I don't think the E-mini really never gave me anything. I haven't barely even been watching it. Let's fix my cumulative delta here. Okay. It's like you have to like rearrange everything to make it go back out to where it's supposed to be. Okay. So like when we're talking about history and stuff, everybody wants to compare current times to World War II. So they all think that this silly theory that like Donald Trump is going to commit genocide or something like that, which it's ridiculous. It's simply ridiculous because Donald Trump is an enigma within the Republican Party because he is high in conscientiousness, which very much so tends to lead you to be conservative. Okay, so for instance, he doesn't like to shake people's hands, was my understanding, right? Like he's worried about like his hand getting dirty, right? So no, like a Mitt Romney is another good example of somebody that's very high in this conscientiousness thing, right? Mitt Romney was like obsessive about the order, so much so that when they were like having their parties after a victory, he was like running around the room cleaning it. Okay, here comes the E-mini. That doesn't look like a clear move right off of the open. They're going to fight it out a little bit, but there is a little bit of buying. Anyways, so Donald Trump is high in conscientiousness, but he is high in openness as well. Right? He's actually a very people person, and he's open to new people and new ideas, and he's not super ideologically bound. And so this whole idea that he wants to commit genocide is kind of silly. He's very conscientious. And so he understands this idea that you can't have a country without borders, right? Because he's conscientious. Anyways, so I think that if you start comparing what's happening now to another period in history, I think that the time period in history that I think is more useful to us today is Vietnam. I've been watching Ken Burns' documentary on Vietnam, and there are a lot of parallels and things that we learned during the Vietnam War that we're kind of ignoring, right? And when you look at the tribe, the personality thing, Democrats were extremely anti-communist, right? JFK was very anti-communist. He was a Democrat. Isn't that interesting? So why is it that the communists have such a sway on Democrats today? I don't understand, but there's something about it. And of course, when, we kind of got into the same kind of overextending thing too, where it's like, okay, we have these foreign policy interests, and it's true. It's like, our interests in Iraq and I guess Yemen now, there actually are international security interests, but they didn't really think it through all the way in Vietnam, right? They supported the South Vietnam regime, which just simply wasn't capable of doing what they wanted them to do, right? In Afghanistan, the Afghanistan government's probably not capable of doing what we want them to do. You found me on Facebook? How did you? So there was somebody else that messaged me last night. They said they were going through that. They were trying to learn to trade the no BS day trading way, and they found my channel and they watched my getting started in futures video, which I was super happy that they like the right people are finding it. And they were saying, where's a community where I can like chat with people? And so I had to direct them to the Discord. But I was thinking, how did they get from my YouTube channel to messaging me on Facebook? Where is the link to it? Because it doesn't have my last name, even though I know it's very easy to find. But I wouldn't expect people just randomly browsing to find it like that. So there was a strong sell and then it came off. This is very, very interesting behavior here in the E-mini. Oh, it was as easy as searching your YouTube name on Facebook. Oh, probably because I've linked it, huh? I'm gonna try that. To go Facebook, and then if I search for Speculator Seth, yep, it totally finds me. Now that's cool. You can totally add me on Facebook. I'll accept it if you make a. You have to make it clear how I know you. Otherwise, I don't respond to it. So sometimes I get people like, I get a lot of people from like other countries and stuff trying to add me, and I'm like, what? Who is that? I should probably make a Facebook fan page. That might be. Okay, my wife wants me to text something for a contest. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get spammed, but that's okay. Nah, maybe I should make a Facebook fan page for you guys, because it does seem like a lot of people are finding me that way. Okay, let's see here. Fuck how bored I am today. Yeah, this is a difficult market to trade, I think. I mean, there's movement for sure. We caught a trade to the downside. We got 4 ticks on it. It went for a little bit more. It probably could have gotten 2 more on that. And then you could have reversed and it came all the way back up. So you could have gotten 6 ticks back the other way. But it wasn't really that clear down at the bottom that we were actually going to. I don't think that I would have caught that reversal. I knew there was a possibility of a reversal there, and I was just kind of waiting to see what it was going to do. And to take that trade, I think you would have had to have just said, here's a point, and because it's a Monday, it's more likely to turn. But that's awfully... Your probability isn't super clear there. On ZB would be a nice short right now if the overnight high holds, but this is one of those days where if I'm going to short it, it's going to magically turn in a massive trending. Right. Well, and the way that the E-mini is trading makes it difficult too. The E-mini at the moment, there was a sell impulse on the open. It came off and now they are selling it again. They appear to be making new lows, and they haven't made new lows in they have made new lows in cumulative delta. Okay, so they are selling, but even after all of that selling, it's not a ton. So we don't know if the E-mini is just going to fall apart, or if or what. Yeah. Well, I wonder how far down this is going to go. So they're already at new lows of the day. There's a tight overnight range. See 2908.25. Oh yeah, my video come out, so I need to go and go and post that. Yes. That's weird. It doesn't want to embed. Maybe I should tweet it. Let's tweet it. There. Okay, so they're still moving up. This is interesting. There was quite a bit of selling there at 03.5, and it just iceberg sucked it all up. These trades says it was a good short in the S&P. So could you see the sell pressure before the open there? I'm kind of wondering if we get a pullback to like 29.12 or so, is that a good place to go short again, or is it just gonna be too difficult to get a hand on? And here in Treasuries at 04, maybe they go for a new high of day too, but this is actually, given that it's a range bound day, where we should be looking for a short here. And I think that it's given it to you there at 04. I'd wait till above 29.14 to go short again. Yeah, see that would be like, yeah, technically above where it opened at, wouldn't it? That's what we're talking about. Or next time, get in short when I announce it. No, the whole point is I want to see it myself, right? The whole thing is trying to understand the order flow signals in the E-mini better, to understand when I'm seeing an aberration, that it actually is giving me a good indication that it's not going to go much higher, and you're getting good risk reward there. Because what tends to happen is, I think, okay, let's say that we think it's going to go long, and I see there's quite a bit trading back and forth here. Okay, seems kind of balanced, and I think, okay, I should buy 29.0925. And then it'll go lower, because what I'm seeing there, even though there's like 1,000 that have traded there at 29.0925, and I saw that it was going to happen there at that price, it usually doesn't end up being a significant enough thing for me to trade off of. See, they're going through it. When I see those sorts of things in treasuries, I have a good knack for knowing, it's going to stop. It's going to turn. But here, I need more. I need to see more order flow signals, and I probably need to do a little bit more homework on the volume profile type of stuff. Well, should I make a Facebook thing? I'll go make a Facebook thing. We can make a page, right? Create a page. There we go. Upload a profile picture. I have to go back here to find the cover photo. I need to use my standard one. Okay, they are pushing a little bit past it at 0.4 now. I don't know. So now hopefully when you search for me on Facebook, you run into that instead. And can I, oh, I bet you I could probably even go live on Facebook with it. That would be cool. But we'll just do that for now. Is it just this? Sure. We'll do it like this. Where are we? There it is on YouTube. That'll be a better way for you guys to chit chat with me in off hours. You know, aside from Discord, of course. But it seems like Facebook's the thing, so we can do that. So a lot of volume at 0.4. E-mini's still selling. They didn't even pull back. The Bank of Japan's Kuroda will be on CNBC later today. That I think would matter. They gonna do it? So '05 is the previous high of the day, I believe. Yeah. It's the previous high of the day. The '05 is not pulling at all. The 5 years still has some room to move. There appears to be some resistance here. Like somebody just went short at 04 half. If the E-mini turned around, we could definitely get a pivot down in the Treasuries. But it's tough. It's a tough call. I don't know if that's going to happen. Belgium's cybersecurity center finds no evidence that Huawei Telecom's equipment could be used for spying. Okay. That's the whole point, folks, is that you would never know because it's built onto the chip. They build it onto the chip and they set it up so that they can send a specific microwave specific frequency to the chip and to get it to do something that it's not supposed to do. Donald Trump, they spied on my campaign. We will never forget. Okay, so he is totally pushing the they spied on us thing now. I'm actually really happy that he's doing that because I really want to get it away from the Ilhan Omar thing. And, you know, the media is just going to talk about whether or not Donald Trump got spied on this week now. And that's, I think, has been a good issue for him. So I think that'll work out well for him. A Straight's still in it, huh? It was a good short. So like the thing is that when I saw the first sell and I saw it come back and I saw it starting to go down, I thought, okay, I think I probably could sell it and I would get a little bit. But I wasn't so sure that I would even get the 8 ticks. So I held off. Now it's really gone much further. So I don't know. The thing is even as far as it has gone down, it's not that big of a move. It really isn't. So I think sitting tight over here is probably the best thing. See, so now they're doing it again here at 2907, saying maybe they could turn around. Just being me says 19 ticks today, small update, but calling it early. Good luck. You got 19 in treasuries? No, you did not. I'm not sure I believe you. Because we're only moving down like 6. Maybe in ZB. How much did it move in ZB? 24. Oh, 1, 12. Yeah, you could have gotten 19 in ZB. So they're forming a zipper here up at the high, and I have a hard time predicting the way that those are going to go. You gotta be careful though, because if it breaks a new high, I might be tempted to buy it, but it still might flip. Okay. Man, what are they watching? That doesn't sound like a kid show. Oh, did we not get an update yesterday? No, when was this? 12. No, we got the one on the 15th. The scaling on the Bitcoin chart seems different. Hmm. Oh, now would be a good time to go do that, though. Let's post that chart. Mm. So they actually made a forego offer for a second. That could be a trap for them to move higher, though, so I'm still not going to mess with it. I would rather see like a break of the high, ton of chaos and a reversal or something like that. Not that I think that that's what's most likely to happen, but I feel like that if that did happen, that would be a higher probability trade. Should be of this. Still just sitting there at 04. Okay, so let's see here. Swisso thinks that Xian will take out 123.07 half today. Wow, that's pretty bold prediction. I can see it happening though. I don't know. The way that the action is going right now, if it gave me something that indicated a really clear short, then maybe I could do it. If the E-mini really started to show that it was failing some key levels, maybe I could take it long. But at the moment, I just don't really see a good opportunity for me, the risk reward that I could get. Especially since I've waited all this time, because there was a good buy down there, you know, and I passed that one up. So yeah. Lucas says I liked the fade earlier at the bottom. He's talking about that same spot. Is there anything that doesn't work sometimes, right? And this, I've said this before. I'm thinking about new videos to make, and I think that the next video that I want to make is on avoiding scams, because there is a lot of people out there selling a ton of bullcrap. And one of the things that I think is like the key tip-off, and pretty much everything does it, is it's not the key tip-off, but like the thing that's going to save you the most is understanding that it takes a lot of effort to get good at trading futures. And most people, if they're on their own, are probably not going to feel comfortable in their profitability. Comfortable in their profitability for at least 3 years. Because what you tend to see happen is you'll come into a time period, you find an edge, and then you come into a period in the market where your edge works really, really well. But then because you don't understand your edge well enough and when to stop trading it, your edge goes away, and you basically lose it all trying to continue trading the edge, right? So if you understand that, then a lot of the stuff that you see out there makes a lot more sense, right? It's like, okay, this guy, he wrote an algorithm and it worked good for a time, but it doesn't work good all year. And speaking of scams, my wife messaged me a couple of Angie's List scammers ever since they made AL free for users, Angie's List free for users. The Nigerians started banging it. Man, 3 years. Yeah. Well, so if you're lucky, then what's going to happen is that within the first 6 months, you're gonna start seeing it and you'll make a good amount of money, right? But it inevitably comes. The summertime comes along and it's slower, or like something changes, and then you have a hard time dealing with it. And that's why I say 3 years. It's like going through that yearly cycle about 3 times, at least for me, was when I realized what the patterns were and when I needed to be careful. I would give my method away for free so that every trade in the world goes short or long when I do, assuring that I would be correct. I would only do that if I was certain that I would catch it before them. You know what I mean? And you'd have more competition in the exits too. Yep. That's the problem with, so like, if it's, what you're saying is that it's a momentum trade, right? You've got a thing in that, and now you want momentum. And if more people were buying or selling in the same place as you, then there'd be better momentum, right? But if that happens, then what's going to happen is there's going to be competition to be the first one to get into it. And so if you're fast and you can get into it faster than everybody else, then it's great. But if you don't, then what could happen is the market will just arbitrage it all out. And then by the time you actually get into it, the move is done. And then you don't get any more momentum because you're catching all the guys that were taking that trade are taking profits already in your face, and it doesn't go anywhere. Right? So if you're fast. But that's kind of point number 2, right? Point number 1 is it takes a lot of effort to be profitable in futures. Point number 2 is you have to find your own unique edge. You're simply not going to go out there and find a system out there that tells you exactly everything to do, where to get in, where to get out, how to manage your money, everything. You're not going to find something like that is going to be profitable for you forever. Because if you happen to be lucky and you catch something like that is early on and it's actually successful, if it is successful, more people will start trading it and they will eventually arbitrage that advantage out of the market. Eventually, they will take it out of the market. I wouldn't want to create a job for myself by marketing, selling, pitching some method, just trade and enjoy my day. Well, and once you understand those two things, then a lot of the stuff out there makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Right? Because it's like, well, I spent all of this time working on an algorithm of some sort, but I don't really make that much off of trading it. Give it to, make it available for public, or you don't understand that making it public is going to make the edge go away. So you do make it public, the edge disappears, and then you're really stuck because now the only thing that's making money is your indicators. So you just start pouring all of your money into that, or all of your resources into that. That's how it happens. That's why so many of these people that are actually like really successful educators aren't necessarily like successful day traders anymore. And also, right, if you have an edge, there's a good chance that at some point your edge is going to disappear. And you need to be able to find a new edge. You need to be constantly working so that you're always finding new edges. I would help family and friends, but again, I don't want to work myself into a job. Now I'm on camera, I have to be there even if you're sick. Hire a flock of noisy birds. Right? Well, so I started doing the weekend political update. I don't think that releasing it on Monday is the best. I think it would probably be better to just release them as news stories happen and make more videos. But so I started doing it, and I want to continue doing it because I want it to grow. But it is more work than it is worth. It is more work than it is worth, guys. I think so. This time I went and I recorded it, and I think I spent 90 minutes recording it because I recorded it like 4 times and I just didn't like my delivery, and I was just very ADHD yesterday. And then I came home and I'm like, well, this is a disaster. I think that I need my wife to help me pick out which parts she thinks are the best ones and combine it together. So we did that, and she edited it for me, and I'm teaching her how to edit. She's pretty good at it. She's just not so fast yet. And then we ended up with a video that's not even 2 minutes long. All of that work for 2 minutes. And if we go in and we watch it, let's see here. Well, I'll just refresh the page and see if it shows us that way. It shows me 9 views. There might be more than that. YouTube Studio Beta. Got 45 minutes left, so go to the channel and click the link and watch just watch the video in the background, mute it. You don't have to actually watch it, but the more of the video that people watch, the more the video gets pumped. In the algorithm, that is. Real-time activity. See more. Yeah, just the 9 in the last hour. I actually had a good number of people tune in to the stream today, so that's interesting. Yeah, it's work. Totally understand. Grady teaches and finishes webinar positive. Yeah, but you notice that he only does the webinar like twice a year. And number two is that he's technically not giving you entries and exits. He shows you where he gets in and out, and he shows you kind of the spots and everything. He shows you like the order flow signals, but that's just so that you can understand what's going on, right? He intends, and the way that he explains it is basically he intends that you go and you watch the DOM and you see that game playing out and then make your own trades based off of the game that you're seeing being played. And that's why I think that his education is the best education that you can get, because there's no BS. He's openly admitting to you that it's hard, that most people aren't successful at it, and that it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice to trade. And he admits that doing it the order flow way is probably one of the hardest ways to do it, because you really have to have specialized experience in your one instrument and understand like the different times of years and business cycles that matter to your instrument, so that you can understand the context and trade the order flow correctly. Today, I think we did a good job. I know that at this part in April, it's going to be a little bit more range bound. And we had some news. We caught a good trade off of the news, and we took the profit at the early spot of the profit. It only went 2 ticks more than that and then reversed. And ever since it reversed, it's been a choppy market, and I haven't really been able to tell what it's going to do. And it never made a new high. Not yet. It's been a good, 30 minutes now? Oh, almost 45 minutes now since we've been in this area, and it's gone nowhere. That is bad action. So I think I read the context correctly today and did the right thing. So I'm thinking that now I should have taken a short in the E-mini, but I don't know. That one wasn't that great. It come down to 29.07. Is market order taking liquidity from the market? Yeah, I guess you could say that. So if you're referring to liquidity as limit orders, then when you hit a limit order with a market order, you're removing some of the liquidity from the market for sure. And that's kind of something where you could kind of watch is like, if everybody's in a position, then you're going to start seeing a lot of liquidity on the DOM as people have their exits and stuff, right? And if you start to see that liquidity decrease, then that means that people took their profits and went home. That's why I would be a little cautious about this area, because they're not pushing the highs. And I'm seeing a lot of profit taking orders on the DOM here. I think that you're likely to see one side of them lose and get a teeny tiny move, and then it go back to balance and they end for the day or something. The radical left Democrats will never be satisfied with anything we give them. They will always resist and obstruct, says Donald Trump 1 minute ago. Fed's evidence says he could see rates holding steady until 2020. I don't. That's where Swiss says wrong. The market order gives the liquidity. I mean, I don't necessarily see it that way, but it's just kind of all depends on what you're going to make your terminology, right? Generally speaking, liquidity is limit orders. So if you hit a limit order with a market order, then yeah, it took away some liquidity, but generally speaking, if you take in a market order, that also means that you're going to exit somewhere, and that's going to provide some liquidity further on down the line. Why did we scroll up there like that? That was weird. Kuroda, the Japanese central bank guy. Japanese economy has slightly slowed down. Okay.
Well, the Japanese yen has not done a whole lot today either. And it has really been the currencies lately that have been moving us. So, yeah. How does Whiskey's yen going for 07.5? I don't know. It's a good question. Have I been showing you the right thing, right? When I come over here and I look at it, I can see why he points out that level. If I zoom in, 07.5 is the top of this side of the profile above us. So, and given that today is a mean reversion day, there's more of a chance of us visiting 075 than there is of us visiting, I don't know, what would be below that, but I'd have to really zoom out to see below that. But what moves the market? Limit orders are market orders? Well, technically how can we say this? Okay. In order for us to tick up, almost always there's going to be market orders that are doing it. I mean, even though what you could see is only 100 trade, and then all of a sudden there's a 500 bid, and then 100 trade, and there's another 500 bid or 5,000 bid, right? Technically speaking, it's market orders that made it tick, right? But really, is the market orders what are driving it? No. That's a move that is more liquidity driven, and you could see something where it's like 5,000 sell into 0.3 and it's absorbed, and then only 100 trade into 0.40 when it goes bid, and then they do that again, right? So that's why my answer to that question, with the way that I look at things and the terminology that I use, either one can. In a trend, the market orders tend to be more dominant, and in a bracketed market, the limit orders tend to be dominant. Although even those I've seen exceptions to. And part of the game is understanding whether it's the market orders or the limit orders that are going to win. Sometimes the limit orders are winning, and then some market orders come in and push through them, and the limit orders realize that they screwed up, and then they have to close out, and then you get really strong trends, right? That's when you get like a iceberg at the high of the day and they break through it, and then it just turns into a trend day. Those sorts of things, It can do either or. Also, I guess depends on how far out you're talking about, right? You can very clearly see here on our no, hold on a second. There we go. Don't have the pen out. So if you look at the ZN here, you notice how when we were down here, liquidity stopped it, and then there's liquidity here, stopped it, and now we're stuck right in the middle of this range right here. See that? Because today we're range bound, and there's not enough market orders to get through the limit orders. So when you get to the edge of the limit orders, we tend to turn around there. You can see down here too is where we were previously. I wonder if I scroll back far enough, can we see when we touched the bottom what happened there? Yes, we can. So you can see here on this one, there was an iceberg down here, and then they left liquidity down below it. And then as we moved up, you can see the liquidity build up behind it. Mm-hmm. Now, generally speaking, you want to see limit orders stack up behind you as you move up, right? Like if we uptick, okay, it's 500 offer, or let's say it's 1600 offer, whatever. Let's say that goes down to 500 and we tick up. Usually they're only going to put 500 on the offer. So then they could trade it back down, right? But if we tick up and there's suddenly 5,000 on the bid, that's good for us. We want to see limit orders below us. If we're going long, we want to see limit orders below us stack up and limit orders above us pull, right? But you just got to keep in mind that there's exceptions to that, right? Because you could have a situation where somebody just took a position and they put a bunch of orders at a certain spot. Like all of a sudden this is 8,000 at 050 and it's like a magnet and they go right to it. I've seen that before. And I've seen situations where they do that and somebody's like, oh, that's a bad sign, and they sell it. So it's like, it's kind of contextual still. And I guess you can't read too much into any one particular change, but the slow changes over time seem to matter more, right? And you can see on our level 2 here, they've been bid all day. The bids have been stronger almost all day. Although some of the absorption is negative. It seems like there are some people going short here at between 04 half and 04. And I don't know if they're going to win or not. That's the kind of the thing is like, this is where I think that getting the really range bound days are really hard, because you can see the edge. You can very clearly see the edges, right? You can very, very clearly see that they're stuck between 02 half and 04 half. And you might be able to pick up quite a few ticks just trading for 2 to 3 ticks up in that area, right? But then you never know when they're going to overdo it and that edge of that range is going to be broken. It's just not as high of a profit. When it's trending, this is why I think you have to be able to take advantage of, trending action. You can make so much money on a trending action, right? But you're going to lose it all in range bound action. And similarly, if you only get the range bound action, you're just going to get slaughtered when it's a trend. So you got to be able to pick up a really good profit when it's trending, and just kind of do okay when it's range bound is kind of what I'm trying to do, at least. I don't know. I guess to say which one pushes the market is, I think we could probably, if we were designing a course, I think that we would need to come up with a better question or explanation than that, right? Because it's so much more complicated than that. I think it's better to say, stacking in your direction tends to be good. Pulling in your, tends to be good if you want it to move up. But that there's exceptions to them. Okay, well, I think, I already posted my notes, and we only took one trade, and I think we understand why we took that one trade. It was a good short at 02.5. The news happened. We thought that maybe we could go down towards the low of the day, and we took it off just before we got there. And then there was another signal down here that was a good buy, but we just didn't take it, and it would have been super hard to have held on to, too, especially there at 015. So it came back up here, and then it was all sorts of questionable. If I had taken that, I maybe would have taken it off there. Who knows, to take it all the way up to there. But pretty typical Monday. I missed here. Did I miss something on? Mr. Mimo00 who just followed us on DLive. So thank you very much. pretty quiet on D Live today. We got so much chatting activity before, and now it's pretty quiet. But I guess, always it just takes one guy to start talking. Just remember that. Anyways, good discussion. Yeah, I can see the 07.5, but I just don't at the moment. I don't see them acting like they really want to move it, but I think it's possible. I don't think that I would be able to tell. If I was swing trading and I had bought it down at below around 123 even, then it would maybe be worth holding to 07.5, but I can't say. Anyways, it is time for me to go, so I will catch you guys tomorrow. Be sure to check out my weekend video. Of course, it's only like 2 minutes, and if you watch it, it helps it in the algorithm if you watch the whole thing. And I think it's something that I'm really concerned about. And it's kind of funny saying like making a video saying stop talking about this thing, but you got to do it. Like we talk about it, get out of our systems, and let's move on, because I think it's a dangerous issue. I think it's a dangerous thing going on right now. All right, and we'll see if Swisso is right. Maybe it does go up to 07.5. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to that when I go into work. Let's see if it does it. Oh, look, they are breaking the high now. There you go. Okay, I will catch you guys later before I get sucked in. Stay profitable.